Welcome, Ram fans, to the very first live edition of Monday Morning Cup of Coffee. I'm here with my partner in crime, co-host Brady Hall. Welcome, Brady. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's Monday morning, ready to rock and roll. We got a lot of football to talk about at some point, I'm sure, a recap from the weekend. And I'm getting excited for basketball season, Steve. I'm ready to go, man.
So, did you do anything fun outside of sports this weekend? I know I got a chance to rake some leaves, enjoy the great autumn weather, but do anything else fun this weekend?
We did. We went to the little pumpkin patch place there in Windsor. We drive by it all the time. And so we decided it was time to go, get some pumpkins. We don't do the whole carving thing. We just get the pumpkin, put it out on the front porch. That's it. We used to do that, but who has time to do that? Plus, I'm terrible. So we had some fun getting out and about, and it's been beautiful these last few days.
Yeah, it's we my wife and I, we took a drive downtown the back way, saw all the pretty leaves, and then I came home and raked and filled up pumpkin bags. We don't carve pumpkins either. We don't display, but they make the nice plastic pumpkin bags, and I filled three big ones up, and I've got a lot more to go. So anyway, it was good. What did you see over the weekend that you liked? I assume I know you watched the football game. What did you like? What did you think about it?
Well, I like that CSU got the win. It was a little scary there toward the end, Steve. I'll tell you, man. Nothing is ever easy when you're trying to get over that mental hurdle of beating a team that you just don't really have a great history in beating. So this could be one of the last times, maybe it is the last time we see Colorado State on the football side play in Colorado Springs. So we'll see what that looks like with the scheduling and the new conferences and stuff. But that could be, at least for the foreseeable future, the last time we see Colorado State at Air Force. And they came away with the win for the first time since 2002. First time they beat them since 2015. So I'm kind of the mindset this morning, Steve. Beggars can't be choosers. Needed the win. I don't care how ugly it looked toward this down the stretch. Got it done.
I am so much with you on that. I think you're absolutely dead on. You always hear this expression, teams need to learn how to win. And we kind of laugh at that. You think that's kind of silly because all these guys that are playing, they won all their lives and they know how to win, but they don't know how to win as CSU yet. And it's been so long. Like you said, 2002 for on the road at Air Force, 2015, and the like. So everything about it speaks, I think, really, really, really well. So So anyway, yeah. Ooh, we got a comment already. Jacob Kennedy, let's go Rams. There we go. We're ready to rock. The one thing I want people to know, this is if you saw the introduction on Thursday, Brady and I are going to have a lot of fun doing this. And, people talk about Batman and Robins, and Brady is much more experienced than me, and he's certainly a Batman in this business. I am not a Robin. I am way too young. So we're coming after it as I'm Alfred the Butler, and Brady is the Batman. So the old man Butler and the Batman. That's kind of what this show is going to be all about. We're going to have some fun doing it. So, and we're going to bring on a weekly guest, and I'm about to bring him on. Let's bring on Jalen Crocker Johnson, my very first guest live. Jalen, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are good. Early start. I know when I was your age in school, I think I was in bed till noon, staying up till 3 a.m. So thanks for coming on this early. We really appreciate it. Jalen is a 6'8", 230-pound forward from San Antonio, Texas, via Little Rock, Arkansas. The university there where he played 1 year, averaged just under 10 points and just under 6 rebounds a game. Was Ohio Valley Freshman of the Year. So he comes with great credentials. First, how's it going? How are you enjoying CSU so far, and how much of a change is it for you from Little Rock?
It's a big change, to be honest. Just the weather, the environment, the community. Beautiful place for sure. The teammates, the fans, they definitely show love and everything, and I like it out here for sure.
Well, Jalen, you got to love the weather right now, man. I mean,
for sure.
slow fall too. Normally, Steve knows this. We go from summer to winter a lot of these years where there's no change, but we've had a nice steady change in the season. So you got to enjoy that, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm liking that.
Before we go, Jacob wants to know if the clock operator will add 1 second to the game clock. Obviously, that's reference to the football game over the weekend. Hey, Jalen, from an overall system perspective, I had Ali on Thursday night, and he talked about what he expects out of you this year. Specifically, he said you played a lot with your back to the basket with Little Rock, and he expects you to not just play with your back to the basket, but to also play on the perimeter and be more of a wing type of player as well. How's that transition going for you?
I mean, obviously, when I came back in June, there was a lot of development, just a lot of skill work that I've been trying to just break a shell out of. But I mean, it's been good for me. I'm definitely getting the hang of it, getting more comfortable, being versatile than just being back to the basket. But it's good for me, and I'm starting to get the hang of it, and just the way Coach Mevin works his offense, I'm starting to get a feel for it.
Jalen, last time you and I chatted, we were at the golf course there at Harmony, and that was a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about how complicated maybe this offense or this coaching scheme can be for Coach Medved. You're saying, man, in the last couple of weeks, you're starting to feel really comfortable with everything.
Right. Yeah. So basically, I mean, the terminology, that's totally different from Little Rock. So that's just trying to get to learn a new terminology and what to do and everything. And then we got a lot of plays, a lot of cutting, a lot of moving. So it's just getting right for it.
Hey, before I go any further, I've heard you called Croc. Can we call you Croc or should we call you Jalen?
Yeah, you can call me Croc. Everyone calls me Croc. I've been getting called that since high school just because of my brother and everything. So, yeah, you can call me Croc. I'm used to that.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I don't want to abuse a nickname. Some people only like their friends to call them nicknames, so that's cool.
Big nickname guy. So I like that. I like that style, Jalen. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you.
Brady, what was your nickname, by the way, when you were younger?
Oh, boy. My dad called me Biff. Do you remember Biff America? He was like a skier and then a radio guy. So my dad called me that. And now the nicknames aren't so nice, on the social media sites. So,
yeah, that's the
really
CU fans.
Yeah, I have a lot of those nicknames. But, I don't really have one anymore. I need one, though. We got to come up with one.
Batman. Mine when in college was Skins because I weighed all of about 130 pounds. That was short for skinny. So everybody called me Skins. And to this day, at the age of 71, I still have friends from college that refer to me as Skins. So anyway, let's go on from that. Hey, Jalen, You got a chance. We're not going to talk. I got a live chat here. Wanted to know about super scrimmage tidbits. We're not going to share anything from the scrimmage with Washington State over the weekend. But I wanted to know what it felt like to just be finally playing with teammates against somebody else and not practicing against and playing against your same teammates. Did it feel good just to be in a Ram uniform and play against other people in a different uniform?
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, we've been going out and competing since June and everything. So, I mean, just to finally get out and play against someone else and finally test where we're going to be at for real, it was a good test for us.
Well, Jalen, how tired of just going at each other? Seriously, do you get by this point, what is it, October 21st, for being able to have that change without just going up against each other nonstop? I mean, it has to be so refreshing.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, obviously in practice, we all know what we're doing and everything. They obviously know what we're going to cut, when we're going to run this, and that. But, I mean, when we get to play against someone else, they don't know what we're going to do. So, I mean, it's definitely a good experience just to finally get out and play against someone else.
I've noticed in all my years of watching practices, guys start cheating on defense because they do exactly what you said. They know where the cut is coming. They know what sets are being run, and so the defense tends to cheat a little bit, and things tend to get a little bit cluttered. Was it a little different? Was it different just playing and having to actually play different people, different sets, different just being having to be more aware? Did you find yourself was it a little tougher?
Yeah, because definitely test our communication and vision for sure. So, I mean, because we obviously know what we're doing in practice, but just guarding someone else and trying to figure out their plays and stuff like that. I mean, we obviously got scout, but I mean, you just got to test your vision, the communication, and just become whole as a team and just lock in.
Do you feel like after the screen? I know we're not going to get into details on that, but
Right.
you know, how do you feel kind of today, looking back at that with your communication, just how things were flowing on the floor?
I mean, we did some really good stuff, and then we did some stuff that we could work on and everything. But I mean, obviously, we know. I mean, it's good that we just got that out the way, so we could really see what we need to work on, prepare for the exhibition game and the first game coming out.
So, which you've had a chance. You've been with the program since June, and there's a lot of new players. Who are the players that you've developed a good relationship with? I'm just curious. Players that not just respect on the court, but what guys have you become friends with? Are you close with everybody, or there's a couple of people that just stand out?
Yeah, I'm mostly cool with everyone, but like the main players I'm really close with is Keyshawn Williams and Kyan Evans. Those are like the main two I'm close with.
What about those guys? Do you guys do a lot of social things together, doing stuff away from practice or away from basketball?
Yeah, we'll hang out here and there, like whenever you have the time off and everything. We'll chat and everything, and just have good conversations and stuff like that. And then turn like just over the time since June, we just been getting closer and closer. And like those been like the main people I've been hanging around with. But I mean, everyone is still cool. I still have good relationships with everyone, but those are the main two.
It just seems like you guys, you know, new guys come in, quickly develop a bond, and I think you and I were chatting about that a couple of weeks ago out at Harmony Club. That's just kind of the style of these coaches too. They find great dudes that quickly gel. I mean, how important is that for you, man? I mean, being able to find guys that you're close with, and then you know the rest of the team too.
I mean, obviously, coaches gonna recruit good guys and everything that they know they can bond with on and off the court. I mean, obviously, if you got a good relationship off the court, that's gonna make you play a lot better, have a better connection on the court.
Speaking of recruiting, you came to CSU via the portal after 1 year at Little Rock. What was it like? Tell me your experience in the portal.
I mean, as soon as I hit the portal, Coach Ali was the first coach to hit me up and everything. So they could definitely tell that they was interested in me and whatnot. And then like 3 days later, they was ready to get me on a visit. So, I mean, I definitely like felt that I was wanted and everything. So when I got on the visit and everything, the whole coaching staff stole love and everything. They had a whole presentation for me and everything from the community. So I just like felt love and wanted at CSU. So I mean, I just knew that was the right fit for me, and they have a good program history when it comes to winning. Good Coach Mev is a good coach and everything. So I just knew that was going to be a good fit for me in the portal. So I already just made my decision right away. I wouldn't like want to wait because I want to go somewhere I felt wanted.
You know, talk about that too, like that initial conversation. I'm always curious how that goes. Is it kind of a conversation like this where it's like, hey, good morning, you're getting into it, what do you think of the weather? Or do you guys just get right into the important stuff, talking about basketball and your view on everything?
Really just getting right to the important stuff because, I mean, no one's going to want to have a player just sitting around trying to weigh out options and see if there's going to be a top five or this, and that. I mean, we just got straight to business and everything. They got me on the visit and we was just talking and everything. And then after that, I already knew what I wanted to do in my family. They like to visit out here too, so that's a big part. If they can get my family interested for real, then I'm definitely like all in for it.
Did compare it to? I mean, you went to Little Rock. You weren't heavily recruited by the bigger programs out of San Antonio. You had a great high school career, but compare the portal to being recruited out of high school. How much different is it? Is it crazy? Is it just nuts?
Yeah, it's a lot different because, I mean, obviously after that first year of college and you have a good year and then coaches realize your potential and stuff like that. So hitting the portal, there's a lot more coaches that was hitting me up, a lot more mid to high major schools hitting me up and everything. So I mean, it was definitely crazy just my phone blowing up like that. Than other than high school. I mean, even though I had a good high school career and everything, I mean, it was still crazy getting a lot more schools hitting me up.
How do you even begin that process? I mean, you're getting messages, you're getting all this stuff coming at you. Is it more of you initially see a couple of teams that you're kind of interested in, and then you just start doing your research there, or are you kind of like, let's take it all in, I'll dabble and kind of look at everything before I start with any conversations?
I mean, my brother, he really helps me out. He's been in that position before of getting recruited and everything. So I really ask him on like, what should I do here? Or, like, go do some research and stuff like that, and pick and like go figure out what the school is the best fit and see what coaches are really interested. Cause you never know, like they can hit me up the next, another forward commits right after. So we really just take our time, and then he'll help me out, figure out the right plan for me.
So going back to your high school recruiting, like I said, probably from after coming off your freshman year at Little Rock, probably vastly under recruited. Has that led to you having maybe a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when you play?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely brings motivation because I know my potential and I know what I can do, but I always stay humble at the end of the day. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to come out and work as hard as I can and do what the coaches want, be a coachable player and everything. So, I mean, I'm going to go where I feel wanted and what coaches want me to go play. Like whether it's playing the 4, the 5, or be on the bench, being a team player, I'm going to do whatever I can. So, I mean, being under recruited, I mean, definitely messes with my head a little bit. But I mean, the end of the day, I'm still playing basketball with any other team. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do whatever I can. I mean, if it's getting recruited to a higher level or staying at a mid-major, low major, I'm still have a chance to be great and play.
Oh, I love it, man. I mean, that kind of chip on your shoulder, I mean, that can drive so many players to do some really awesome things. And we've seen a lot of greatness with Colorado State, the last couple of seasons. Some great players, and Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy. You and I talked about Roddy, and just looking at how much his career kind of meant when you were in that process of where you're going to go. How much was the name David Roddy floated around to you?
And definitely because when I had a presentation, Coach Meva had broke down on how Roddy made a bunch of jumps throughout his season and everything. So just all through development and everything on how become to being a leader and stuff like that. That definitely did like wake me up and stuff like that because sophomore and junior can make a big jump for me and everything. And I could be in the same position as Roddy. So basically just stay to it, stay to the grind and everything. And then eventually I just get the right opportunity to just be a leader.
So we had a question come in from a viewer. What's the favorite in-game dunk you've had?
I mean, I had a couple bodies I've had in high school and everything. I mean, I didn't have too many dunks my freshman year, but probably just an in-game body I had in high school. But I mean, I'm gonna try to get some this year for sure.
So getting to the chip on the shoulder, of course, Brady, you and I watched Dalton Connect at UNC, who obviously played with a chip on his shoulder. Didn't get recruited at all out of high school. Ended up in Sterling as a junior college. Came to UNC, Northern Colorado. Worked for 2 years. Plays a year at Tennessee. First round draft pick by the Lakers. So things can happen, and it's kind of fun. I like watching. The joy that I have watching college basketball is watching young players develop. You don't know. I mean, there's a certain small percentage that are going to make it. The other ones, though, it's all a free for all, and it really comes down to hard work and development. And Jalen obviously has made the next step, and we're excited to see that coming. Right?
Yeah, Jalen, and talk to us about that, man, because we always hear like for you guys to be playing at this level. I mean, this is high level basketball. What is that separator? Because you guys are all working really hard, and I know there's a difference there. But for you, what is that separator that you look at that says, hey, these things I start doing now are going to put me potentially on a lot of radars to go to that next level?
I mean, Me and the coaches have talked about it when in practice when it comes to like using my voice and having an impact on the game and everything. Like I start using my voice and being the leader and stuff like that and leading the team whenever we start fighting through adversity and stuff like that. And just y'all say having that chip on each other, just having that other gear, that higher motor and stuff like that where I got to get to. And I know that would take me a far way.
Yeah,
When it
love
comes
it.
to basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of look at yourself and say, that's an area I want to grow in and be that leader. Because when times are tough, sometimes that leader can almost overdo it, can get after it. And then maybe guys kind of shut down. So I guess finding that balance is probably a really interesting thing for you.
Yeah, for sure. Because whenever we fight through adversity and stuff doesn't go our way, we definitely got to have that person to build us back up and feed off our energy and stuff like that.
Now we've got to wrap up with Jalen. Before we go, though, I need to ask you some fun questions. You guys obviously go out, do things other than just basketball. Who's the best dancer on the team?
Keyshawn, for sure. Keyshawn Williams. Yeah.
Well,
how about worst singer? I only asked that because I got kicked out of 6th grade choir because they thought I was intentionally singing bad. I wasn't. I was doing my best.
It's between Neek and it might be Neek. Yeah,
well, and it's funny you mentioning Keyshawn. I learned, at the golf club thing, Keyshawn was talking about his interest in like gymnastics. And all that. So when you say that he's the best dancer, that kind of checks out.
Yeah, yes. He told me like gymnastics was his first love and everything. So yeah, he definitely surprised me with some moves.
What are your things, man? Like what else? So when I asked Keyshawn, I was like, what else is there for you like that you're interested in outside of basketball? Doesn't have to be a serious thing. It could be a fun thing, whatever. And he brought in the gymnastics and that kind of blew my mind. What is it for you, man? What is that other thing for you that really can hold your attention outside of basketball?
I mean, probably football because, football was my first love before I got into, like, seriousness with basketball because I've been playing football since I was little all the way up to high school and everything. So, football for sure. I definitely love watching football and stuff like that. And if there was a chance I could go back to football, I would because, it's fun. So, yeah, football.
What was your position?
I was a tight end and DN.
Steve, we're gonna have another CSU basketball player that was really good at football too, and we're gonna talk about that. I love it. There's another connection with David Roddy, man. I love it.
There we go. Next time we get Roddy back, we'll have to have him throw some passes to our new tight end, Jalen Crocker Johnson. Hey, Jalen, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time. We know you're a student. We know you have a busy day ahead of you with practice and the like. Getting ready for inter-squad scrimmage on Friday, and then obviously the exhibition game that on October 30th with Adams State. Thanks again for coming on. We'll talk. We'll have you again, man.
Thanks. Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Good luck, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, that was awesome. What a great kid.
Yeah, he's so cool, man, and I love kind of just hearing him talk about what those next steps look like for him to get better and everything, because a lot of guys will just answer with, I need to be faster, I need to work on my footwork or my hands, and he's talking about, hey, I need to be more of a vocal leader, like I need to be that guy on the floor and off the floor too. So that's a really mature dude right there, bright and early doing this with us, Steve. That right there moves the needle a little bit.
Yeah, that like I said, when I was in college, 8:15 was the eyelids were closed. That's for sure. The one thing I'm really excited about, the first practice I went to this year, I can't remember who it was, but it was an ex-player that came up to me and said, you got to see this kid, you got to see Croc play. And then the first time I talked to new assistant coach Ken DeWeese, he said, I said, what do you think? And he goes, that Crocker Johnson kid is a lot better than I thought he'd be. So I think he's going to be a really exciting addition. I'm thrilled. I've seen enough in practice. The other thing that's fun, I know that we have the portal and free transfers and all this kind of stuff, but we might be looking at our very first all Pac-12 player right there. You don't know, but if he sticks around, that could be our very first all Pac-12 player at CSU 2 years down the road.
Yeah, I know they're high on him, and he's a motivated dude. And when you mix all that stuff together, I think you're gonna see something pretty awesome coming from that dude. So I got him circled for sure, Steve. That's the guy for Rams fans to really pay attention to. Obviously, there's your obvious guys and Neek and Kyan Evans and Jalen Lake, but this is a guy you're gonna be talking about him a lot after games throughout the season.
So we need to start wrapping up. What you got coming this week, Brady, on your show?
We've got we'll talk to Mike Sanford today. He was a former quarterback coach, but of course former CU Buffs coach. He does a great job of talking CSU with me, though. So he's been diving more into all things Colorado State. So we'll catch up with him, and then we'll talk about Steve. My poll question today is all about that Air Force going for 2 thing. I'm not into the analytics, man. I just don't get it. Don't know why they did it. So I want to have a conversation about that today. It's my poll question. There was 9 minutes left. I think they scored with like 7 minutes left. And then they go for 2 to try to make it a 6-point game rather than a 7-point game. I don't get it. So we're going to talk about that today. And then, of course, recap the crazy weekend of football.
Yeah, what a great poll question. You put out something on social media yesterday about it. And of course, my comment back was a snarky, howdy doody thinks he's smarter than everybody else. I couldn't resist.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like now it's all about analytics and 50-50. So if you don't get it this time, you're going to get it next time. We're just throwing numbers out there. That's assuming that offense is good enough to warrant those kind of odds. So it's mind blowing to me. Yeah, in Madden, I'm going for 2 every single time when it doesn't make sense. But in this case, I didn't understand it. So we're gonna dive into it today. I'm gonna get a lot of the calculator nerds coming at me on the show. So that should be very fun.
You better watch out. People keep receipts nowadays, huh?
Oh, they love keeping receipts, Steve. They do, man. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut on that side for a while. Let the heat cool down.
My real opinion on the going for 2 thing was they had all the momentum in the world. The 2-point play doesn't get them any more momentum than a 1-point play. When you miss, you take away a little bit, just enough of that momentum. You take away just enough of that edge. They had CSU on the ropes. All they go do is kick the extra point, get a 3 and out, and take the ball over. They have them on the ropes, and then they can go down and decide to go for 2 or kick for the tie. And I'm a great believer in momentum. Once you have momentum in a game, you need to maintain it. You don't do anything to remove it. So
yeah, I'm all about if you go down and score at the end of the game and you potentially can tie it. If you're feeling frisky at that moment, go for it. I like that. I don't like having in the back of my mind that if I don't get the 2-point conversion, now I have to get in the end zone twice. I have to go score a touchdown, and then I got to get the 2-point conversion. I just think mentally that messes people up. So I'm not in on that. I'm in on some new age stuff, but definitely not this one.
Yeah. So what else? Who else you got? Anybody else coming later in the week?
It should be a jam-packed show. Jack Howell will join us. We'll have the Jack Howell show on Tuesday. Always look forward to that. So as far as my CSU stuff, Jack's going to be on. We'll talk to Mr. Brohard a little bit out at CSURams.com. Kevin Lytle will join us and talk about football and that big win over Air Force. So look forward to all those conversations. And something fun, just for future reference, maybe in the next week or 2, we will be hooking up with Neek Clifford for the Neek Clifford Show, thanks to Crazy Carl's Pizza, Steve. And then Ali Farokhmanesh, I believe, is going to start joining me on a weekly basis. So, we got a lot of CSU stuff ready to rock.
You're going to be killing it. I do have some bad news for you. We chatted last Thursday night on my stream, and I butted into Mr. Thursday Night and made my pick of CSU over Washington State and the under in the closed door scrimmage. There's reports that Washington State did in fact beat CSU. I saw that on Twitter last night. So even though it's very theoretical, it looks like I've sullied the great result as Mr. Thursday Night that you had this past week with my bad pick.
Well, that's why I learned from history, Steve, when you try to add too many games to it, you just lose a lot more. If you leave it to just the NFL Thursday night game, you can only lose one time. So that was kind of the thought process there.
Anyway, so let's wrap. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for joining us on the very first live show, a Monday morning cup of coffee. Let's end with a little bit of fight song. Brady, thank you. Have a great week. We'll be in touch, and we'll see you next Monday morning.
All right, my friend. See you later.
Later, bud.